All right, welcome the third ever guest on the Doordash podcast, NUGGS, as you guys know him by. Pleasure to have you, NUGGS. How you been?
Good, man. I'm glad to be on here. I'm excited.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on. It's a pleasure. I can't believe I got Doordash Dad and you in the first. Yes, like you guys got some followers when it comes to Doordash for sure. So this is exciting. Um, so basically to start off this podcast, I just wanted to go into like what's your background? How'd you get started with DoorDash, and what made you decide to start your YouTube channel, Nugs?
Yeah, sure, man. I have probably haven't been in the game as long as I know I watched the podcast with you and Doordash Chat. I know Doordash Chat has been in it for a while,
Hmm.
but I've only been doing it for 6 months or so. I was working before this. I was working like 2 years at Wendy's, man, and I hated it there. Like I was working. I got promoted 3 times, and I was still making peanuts, man. The highest pay I was making was like $11 and some change. And I was like,
Yeah,
oh man.
I feel that,
And
man. I feel that.
yeah, and so my girlfriend, like, found out like DoorDash, and obviously, like when I was working at Wendy's, like we had people come in and all the time, like for DoorDash. But she was like, "Yeah, I saw this thing. Let's go ahead and try it out." And so, we started that, and I didn't go full time really until the beginning of this year, but I started in, I want to say September of last year.
Okay.
And when I first started, I was like taking every order, and I was making like $13 an hour. I was like, "This is
Yeah,
awesome," but
I
yeah,
I feel that too, man.
yeah, but
Yeah,
yeah, obviously that's not very good. But when you first start, it's like you don't know better, at
yeah,
least for me.
exactly, exactly.
Um, but this YouTube channel, it's like I've been making videos for like 6 years. So I've actually been making
Okay.
videos like all the way back to when I was like 15. And I was making like Minecraft and like Clash of Clans stuff. But
Okay.
I was like, I realized like when I'm doing DoorDash, it's like I can just record this and
Yeah.
and try to have a good time and show other people like, hey, this is how it goes, and to hopefully tell other people like, don't start out how I did. Don't take everything. Don't
Yeah.
use your head, and you're self-employed. You got to treat yourself to it.
Yep.
So
For sure.
that's how I started doing it, and I love what I do, man. But that's how I started doing DoorDash videos, and it took off. I was like, this is sweet.
Okay. So how many subscribers did you have when you started making those DoorDash videos?
I had about 1,000. So
Really? So you
yeah,
so you really shot up with the DoorDash content then.
yeah. Well, I had one video that I don't know how it did, but it got like 500,000 views.
Yeah, I've seen
Um,
that one, the 87-hour work week one.
I know. I'm like, out of all the videos that could have blown up, like, why this one, dude? But
It's so random, I feel like. It's just like you never know what video could just take off. It's so random.
yeah,
So that's cool though. I totally feel you when it comes to your Wendy's stuff. Like, I don't know if you watched my first podcast where I kind of gave my story, but I used to work at Taco Bell before this, and it was just like I was a general manager, had my own store. I moved over to a KFC. I was making $14 an hour, and like I got overtime pay and stuff, but I was like, man, like there has to be something better out there. And then I started doing DoorDash part time, and then I just got into some other stuff. But then yeah, now I'm just doing DoorDash full time, making like $30 an hour doing that and Uber Eats, and it's just a good time. So
yeah.
yeah, I totally feel you when it comes to that. So next question. I guess you kind of answered this. How long you've been dashing for? You said since September.
Yeah, since September, and I started full time like probably beginning of this year, January or so.
Okay, cool. I'm honestly surprised that you haven't been going longer. I thought for sure you would have been like 3, 4 years at this point. But man, that's not a long time at all.
No,
Uh,
I know,
so
man. I didn't expect to blow up with this, but I'm just going with it. But
yeah,
yeah.
for sure. So what's one thing you can give our audience? What's one thing you wish you would have known your first day beginning your DoorDash career?
Oh man. First thing, something I would. I mean, I think DoorDash Dad might have spoke on this before too. I'm not sure, but don't be a clown. Don't take every single order, man. Like when I first started, I was like, I I saw some people were saying online, if you go on like Reddit, people are like, if your acceptance rate goes down below something a certain point, you can get deactivated. And I was like, I just quit Wendy's, so I was like, I need my income. So
Yeah.
I was taking everything, and I wasn't like top dasher yet because very soon I learned that that's not how to do it. But yeah,
Yes.
just that, and I guess another thing that I don't know, wear and tear on your car. It's like you got to understand, like if you're driving something that's really old or whatever, it's like it can all come and hit you at once.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for
so
sure.
like some people, like DoorDash is like this awesome job, and it's like sort of glorified to be like, you can be your own boss and make all this money, and it is great. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but it's like that's something I didn't think of at first. Is like you got to understand that gas and wear and tear does add up. Like
Oh yeah,
over time,
for
eventually
sure.
something's gonna happen, and
Yeah, you
yeah,
definitely got to put money away to put towards car expenses and a new car eventually.
yeah,
I've learned that as well. So I've already gone through one car when it comes to that because I've been
yep, me
going
too,
for
man.
a couple years now. So definitely you got to put money away for that. Um, so this was another question that I asked DoorDash Dad, but I wanted to get your opinion on it. What's one common myth about DoorDash that you personally want to debunk right now?
Hmm. One myth about DoorDash I'd like to debunk. Hmm. That DoorDash cares about their drivers.
Yeah, exactly. They know people are gonna sign up and do it, and I feel like they're just like, well, you either take it or leave it. Like you
Yeah.
either know that
So,
we're not gonna be the best to you, or you don't work for us.
yeah. So I'm sure this will probably be a topic. I'm not sure, but later in the podcast about like the new pay model.
Uh-huh.
Hate it, man. That just is like a stab in the back.
Yeah, for sure. So, well, I guess we can get right into that since you brought it up. But so have you seen the new pay model and like has it's a part of your app and everything, or is
So
it
I
just from what
haven't.
you've been seeing like online and stuff?
Yeah. So I haven't actually seen it in my app. I don't know if it's like I know that I've seen like videos about talking about how like it's rolling out differently and they're just testing it
Mhm.
now, but
Yeah,
I haven't actually got it in my app. But I've seen like it's scary, man. Like
I know.
I've seen videos on it. I've seen your video talking about it. It's like if this hits, it just takes away. Like one of the best parts about this job is that we can pick, we can choose, we can just see all this information,
Yep.
and that determines, one dasher might be kind of a crappy dasher, make $10 an hour, and then if you're good and you pick the right orders, pick the right restaurants, you
Hmm.
can make $30 an hour. But it sort of like brings us together and
Yeah,
kind of takes
exactly.
away that skill, in my opinion.
I
I'm not a
agree.
fan of
Yeah, I agree completely. I don't think it's very I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's the best way to go about things, but I could see if DoorDash is, I'm sure you've seen the news on it, how there's all the talk about us becoming employees and stuff.
it. Yep.
Um, I think if they do end up doing that, then the pay model kind of makes sense if we're making like an hourly wage and it's just kind of like you accept the orders you get and then you kind of get the tips on top of an hourly wage. Just kind of like if you were a waiter at a restaurant, you wait the tables you
Right.
get and whatever tip comes your way, you get whatever tip comes your way. So I could see if they're trying to test that out because they know the government's about to step in or something like that. But if they're just doing it just to hide stuff from us, then that's just flat out wrong in my opinion. But I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet. I've had the update for a while now. Do you have the updated app?
Yeah. I have the updated app, but I haven't actually seen the new
Okay.
pay model on mine.
Yeah, that's same with me. And from all the comments that I've been seeing on my videos, like even with the updated app, like I just barely saw the new hotspots and stuff and how like it tells you if you're outside of your area and different stuff like that. Like I just barely started seeing that this week. And people have been telling me they've seen it for months now. And that's like more on the East Coast. And so where I am in Utah, I guess like we're slower to get stuff or something. So hopefully
Yeah.
if pay model is changing, I'm one of the last to get it because I do not want it here. So,
Yeah.
what area do you DoorDash in then?
So I'm in like Northeast Ohio.
Okay,
So like yeah, up by like Cincinnati. So I'm
okay,
on
that makes sense.
yeah.
So you're more in the over in the East as well. And I guess if you're not seeing it yet, then that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Um, so with that, do you get into like all the DoorDash news and like the DoorDash drama, or are you kind of just like sit back and chill and just go out and dash? Because like I watch your videos, you don't get into like necessarily the heated topics of like politics and stuff when it comes to DoorDash. I feel
Right.
like there's like I don't know, me and DoorDash dad, we kind of get into some of the controversial stuff, but you're kind of
Oh
just like
yeah.
from your videos I've seen, you kind of just chill. Like, so do you get into any of that news, or do you just stay away from it on your channel, but you get into it in like your personal life, or how does it work for you?
Yeah. So what you said, sort of like I check up on all that stuff because
Mhm.
like I still DoorDash full time. I DoorDash 30 to 40 hours a week, so
Yeah.
I still care about what's going on. So I check out your guys' videos, you and DoorDash Dad, and I know DoorDash Dad gets real heated when he makes his
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah. He does.
My respect for him, of course, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, he he talks about everything. He'll tell you to your face he thinks it's a crappy company. He thinks
Yeah.
that screws us. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
every video I've made on that topic, it sort of I don't know, doesn't really click with people. I guess
Mhm.
with my audience that I've made, it's more for like people like the ride-alongs and stuff. But when
Yeah.
I talk about it, it's sort of people sort of go at war in the comments, and I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm all for like healthy arguing and stuff, but
Yeah, for sure.
I just try to keep that off my channel for the most part, unless it's like something extremely important, like with the, if the pay model really does start hitting, I'm like, okay, I got to
Yeah.
talk about this. Like if it really starts rolling out and
Hmm.
people are keeping it. But yeah, of course, I check up on everything and I like to know what's going on. But for the most part, I try to keep that on my channel unless I'm like, I think it's really important to talk about.
Yeah, that makes sense. Um, let's see. So what is the number one thing you enjoy about being a DoorDash driver?
Number one thing.
Yeah. You
See,
could pick
this is
just
probably
one
the,
thing. Just one thing.
okay, probably working alone.
Mhm.
That's my thing, man. Just being able to drive in my car and listen to music and not have to listen to someone. It's like, like I've only worked a few jobs in my life, right? But it's like
Mhm.
when I was at Wendy's, it's like I keep going back to that, but that was like my main job. I worked there
Oh,
for
I
2 years,
know.
man.
I feel you, man. 100%.
But when I was there, it's like we got 10 people on the clock. I'm like, come on, man. Like we got to deal with customers all day
Yep.
long. And you still have to deal with customers with DoorDash. Don't get me wrong. But it's like you don't have someone breathing down your neck all the time. It's like
Yep.
just driving, listening to music. It's great. I love
Yeah,
it.
for sure. Like that was the number one thing why I decided to just work for myself, because I got into real estate, which you're also self-employed, and then I transferred over to YouTube and DoorDash. But like when I quit my manager position at Taco Bell and KFC, like that was the number one thing I didn't want to deal with was other people controlling my job satisfaction. Because like I don't know if you dealt with this at Wendy's, probably, because I feel like it happens at all fast food, but like when people don't show up for their shifts and they give like garbage excuses, and it's just like every day it seems like more and more people just like weren't showing up, and like it completely
Calling
ruins your
off.
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
completely just ruins the shift, like ruins your whole night. You know you're just going to get slammed and it's going to be a bad night. And so that was like the number one thing for me is like I got to find a job where other people don't control my job satisfaction. So I
Yeah.
totally agree. DoorDash, you're just by yourself, listen to music. I listen to audiobooks too, or I just listen to YouTube videos. So it's like it's the best of both worlds in my opinion.
Yeah. I
Um
know what you're saying though about working these long shifts and people calling off and no one wanting to
yeah,
show up. That was horrible. It
it
they
was
would ruin your whole day, man.
it was just awful, and it was just getting worse and worse for me as I like moved up the ladder. Just like
Oh yeah.
the more you had to rely on the people below you, it was just terrible. And you're making terrible money doing it too, and it's like
Yeah.
exhausting. Like I don't think people realize that like working an 8-hour fast food shift is way more exhausting than working at like a desk or doing DoorDash or something for 8 hours, in my opinion. Like I
Yeah. No, I agree.
you're moving around constantly dealing with people. It's like high stress environment, and it just wasn't for me. So
Not to mention putting away truck, man. I don't know if you ever had to
Oh
do that,
yeah,
but putting.
yes, that was the worst, man. Like those freaking heavy boxes, and there's like 50 to 100 of them. You're just like, it would take till like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning for me because ours came
Oh
at
yeah.
night. And man, like I couldn't leave till it was done. Oh, it was just the worst. So I totally feel you, man. Um, so now that we know what you enjoy most, what's the number one thing you hate about DoorDash or being a dasher, either one?
Okay, this is just like my personal experience, but I don't know. You can tell me if you've ever had anything like this, but a lot of people, it could be like, the low base pay, no tip orders. But for me, this has happened to me 3 times where I've had dishonest customers that just completely ruin my day.
Yep.
So I've had 3 times where it was handed to me. 2 of the times it was at a hotel, I believe, and the other time it was at some place somebody was working. And I go to give it to him, and I don't take a picture. And this was the first time was actually before I started doing YouTube, so I wasn't like recording it in my drop off, so I
Yeah.
had no proof. I
Yeah.
didn't, you don't, when I first started, I didn't take a picture or like hand it to me.
Oh yeah,
Why would
exactly.
you?
Exactly.
Um, but yeah, and it's like it takes me like an hour or 2 hours of talking to DoorDash support to finally get it removed, and it just wastes my time. And it honestly, when it happens, it just sort of ruins my day. I'm like, I kind
Yep.
of don't want to go back out, man. Like
Yeah,
that just
exactly. Because you
it's
never
just
know.
crappy.
Yeah, you never know when a customer could just lie about it, and then it takes, like you said, an hour or two, and that's time you could be making money, and it's just flat out annoying. So I totally feel you on that. I don't know
You
if
ever
you.
had a contract one?
Oh yeah, I've been deactivated twice from it.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I
like,
saw those videos.
yeah, like it's crazy the stuff. And so like the first time I got deactivated, I don't even know like. Well, both times I don't. So the first time I know what happened and why I got deactivated, like I know the exact order it was, and but the second time I got deactivated, I still have no idea why I got deactivated. Like I have some like ideas of what orders it could have been or like what could have happened, but like they still never gave me any information whatsoever on it. So um but yeah, like I've had that happen well, it's happened multiple times, but for some reason, only 2 of the times I've been deactivated, where you deliver the order and then you get a notification saying you didn't drop it off, and you're like, "What's going on?" Like, I literally just talked to you face to face, handed you the order, and yeah, that was before I used to just go 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 as fast as I could, and so I wouldn't even take pictures for the orders. I would just click like the handed to the customer because I was just like, it's faster than standing there taking a picture. It takes forever to load sometimes. And it's just like, I was just like, go, go, go. But after that happened, I was like, I'm taking a picture. I'm recording every order. Like, this is
Yeah, shove a
ridiculous.
camera in their face, man.
Exactly. Like, because when that happened, I had no income for like 2 weeks. I'm like, I like I'm full time at this point. I need that income to
Right.
live. Like I have an apartment, I have a car payment, like I got stuff I got to feed myself. Like so it was just rough. So I'd say that was the number one thing I hate about DoorDash is probably their customer support or their dasher support. I
Oh
just
my
think it's
goodness.
awful. Like they have to do something to make it better because it's just so awful. Like I've never dealt with support like that. It's just terrible.
Yeah. No, support. There was one time where I was dashing and this customer puts the wrong address. So I get a hold of, DoorDash support because I'm like, well,
Yeah.
what am I supposed to do? It was like 3 miles away.
Mhm.
And, it already it already took me to some random person's house. And they're like, we didn't order food. So I contact support. And, you know what the support agent told me? They told
What?
me, they said, go ahead and install a new GPS app, Isaac. I'm like, what the heck, dude? Like, like that's gonna fix the problem. I told them, I'm like, this person gave me the wrong address. I just contacted them. They said, that they gave the wrong address. Can we cancel this order? And he's like, can you get a different GPS? Like, and it's half the time. It's just they're so terrible, man. They're
Yeah.
so terrible.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've had that almost exact same thing happen where it was like a newer development area. So like the houses were brand new and I don't think they were like correctly inputted into the GPS or something. And so it took me like 5 miles in the other direction to like this complete other area. And I get there and I ring the doorbell, and the people are like, we didn't order any food. And I was like, oh, do you know so and so? I can't remember their name, but I like asked if it was like, oh, is this your neighbor or something? And they were like, no, we don't know anyone that lives there. And so I contact Dasher support, and they were like telling me it was at that house. And I'm like, no, it's not. Like, I just went up and talked to the people who live
Yeah.
there. They didn't order food. Like, this is the wrong address, and I can't get a hold of the customer. And they're like, well, like, just leave it at that person's house. And I'm like, they're not the ones that ordered the food. Like, I'm not just going to drop off the order at their house.
Yeah.
They're like, no, that's the right house. And I'm like, it was like a solid 30 minutes. I'm like trying to argue with this guy on DoorDash. Like, this is not the right area. Like, either just cancel the order or like do something with it. And I can't remember what exactly happened, but I had another order once where they told me to just keep the Walmart order. Like, I don't know if you saw, I made a video on it. Like, I had two huge Walmart orders, like 100 items each. And I was driving and I popped two of my tires. And so I contact DoorDash support and they told me just to keep the Walmart orders. Like, so I got like $300-400 worth of food.
They
And
didn't tell you to bring it back?
no, they were like, because I was like, well, I was like, I can bring it back to Walmart, but it's probably going to be a couple hours. Like, I got to get my car towed, get new tires put on it and stuff. So it might be like 2-3 hours before that is done. And they were like, oh, well, since that it's the case, like, just keep it, do what you want with it. Like, by the time you bring it back, the food's going to be bad because like a lot of it was frozen stuff. And so, yeah, they literally just told me to keep it and that they'd refund the customers or send out another dasher.
Wow.
So I was like, well, I guess that worked out for once. DoorDash support was like in my favor.
They actually let you keep all that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I was like, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Like, I mean, I contacted them. That's what they told me.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm going with. It was crazy though. So now I want to get into some finances stuff. Like, what is the most money you've ever averaged per hour?
Hmm.
Like, it
Now
can
I
even
rem
just be for 1 hour. It can just like the absolute peak hour you've ever reached.
Yeah. So this was actually probably in January, and so I live in Ohio, so we get
Mhm.
snow like nothing. We
Oh
actually
yeah.
still got snow just a few weeks ago, so
Oh, same
it's
here in
crazy.
Utah. We
Yeah.
got snow a couple weeks ago too. I know how that is.
Yeah. But this was probably it was when I was yeah, I want to say there was a closed Qdoba. So I got a closed Qdoba stack, and I didn't realize they were closed. So I went there.
Mhm,
It was like right around Christmas, like right after Christmas,
mhm.
and yeah, it was. So both of those orders got canceled, and then I went and did some other orders, and it was crazy. I made, I want to say $90 in 2 hours, and
Wow.
so about 45. It's
That's like what I feel like that's like the most peak you can make with one app is like around that $40 to $50 range. I had 1 hour, it kind of bled into another hour because I don't know if you watched mine and Eli's little challenge that we did, but my last hour I made $56 that hour. I just had like I think I did like 6 orders or something. It was just crazy, and they were huge orders too. So but it was like 1.2 or 1.3 hours is what it was. So it might have ended up
yeah,
being like 48 or something. I don't know. But yeah, you definitely like right around 45 an hour I've seen. So that's crazy
yeah.
though. What's
Peak
the
pay
most?
helped.
Oh yeah, mine was with no peak pay. Like
That's nuts.
it was crazy. It's so weird. So I'm in a suburb in Utah. Like I don't know if you like you probably the only city you know in Utah is Salt Lake City, if you even know that, because Utah's
Right.
just
I
so
know.
like it's not on
Yeah.
the map really. But like I'm like 30 miles south of Salt Lake, just in the suburb, and I like never get any peak pay. But I can still hit like 25-30 dollars an hour. So I hate when people comment like in my comments like it's all depending on the area you're in, like blah blah blah. And I'm like, I probably am in like one of the smallest areas when it comes to DoorDash, and I can still hit good amount of money every single hour. So, and you
Yeah.
probably feel that too, because I thought I saw something where you live in a town that's like just like 10, 20,000 people. or something like that?
Yeah, so I actually just moved. So I used to live in this town called Marietta, 13,000 people, and it was a really, really low income area. So like the average income was like 20,000 a year. So
Oh wow, yeah.
all the odds were like playing against my favor, but I still averaged like 17 an hour, which isn't great, but for the cost of living. But
Yeah,
yeah,
that
now I mean, even now it's like I think this area is only about 30,000 people. So, but I
wow.
still make $20 an hour when I
Yeah,
go out here now.
exactly. So, yeah, I hate when people comment that, but going
Yeah.
from that, what is the most money you've ever made in one day?
I actually made a video on this. I can't remember if there was peak pay. I should probably know this. I did make the video, but I made $307 in 10
Okay.
hours.
Oh
It's pretty
wow.
good.
Yeah. I think I saw that one.
The thumbnail's like me holding up like 10 pizzas.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that one. And it was like $30 an hour was in your title or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's way good. So the most I've ever made just doing DoorDash, like no other apps involved, was 326, but it took me 18 hours. And that was a while. That was like 6 months ago at this point now. So that was back in like I want to say like November or something like that. But yeah, it took me 18 hours. That was when it was a little slower in my area. And yeah, I made $326. But now when I'm multi-app, I can do like the other day I did 10 hours and made $343. So
That's
like
good.
yeah, doing Uber Eats and DoorDash has been crazy good for me. So I highly recommend it because I think it was like your last video or something. You accepted your first Uber Eats order. So
Yeah.
are you starting to try out the multi-app thing, or it was that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm doing the multi-apping, but here's the thing, like Uber Eats, it's nice to run, but it's like I wouldn't be able to do that like by itself. Like I get like
yeah,
maybe an order an hour or something. So, but it definitely, I would say like when I run Uber Eats and DoorDash, I make maybe an extra 20, $30 on Uber Eats. But so I'm planning on trying out like Grubhub and a few. I know Postmates got eaten up by Uber Eats, so I know
yeah,
that you run Uber and you get Postmates now too, right?
yeah. I get Postmates orders all the time. They're actually way better than when Postmates was on its own because I tried Postmates and it was not good in my area. And
Yeah,
but now that they're with Uber, they always pay out like the minimum I've seen is like $9. And
really.
yeah,
So
and
it
the
tells you like it'll say that like it's Uber, but it's also Postmates.
yeah, so
It'll tell you it's
it'll
a.
tell you if it's Postmates and the tip is already factored in. So like with Uber,
Hmm,
the tip kind of comes after, like they can adjust the tip, but
right.
Postmates, the money that you see, that's like the minimum and it's always like $9. Like cuz with Postmates, it's kind of weird. I don't know if have you ever tried Postmates?
No, I
So
haven't.
so the way what I noticed, I only did it like one day for like 8 hours or something like that. But what I noticed is that the longer it took you to do orders, the more you got paid. So they actually took into account like the time it was taking you to do orders, and they would up your net fare or like your base pay. And so with um like now that it's with Uber, if you take longer to do the order, then it'll bump it up. So I had a Postmates order that was like $9.11 or something like that, and it took me like I had to wait for the order for like 10 minutes or something like that, and then I completed the order, and then I got an email saying that they bumped up the net fare and that the order ended up being like $11. So like
It's not bad.
I've seen a big improvement now that Postmates absorbed into Uber Eats. Their orders are really good. So I usually always take the Postmates ones because for some reason they pay so well. I don't know why. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's like Uber trying to get people to make sure they're getting accepted or something like that. I don't know what it is, but so far it's worked out for me. But I really want to try Grubhub. It's so hard to get into in my area though for some reason. Like I've
yeah,
tried signing up. I don't know if you have. Have you tried signing up?
yeah. So I tried signing up, and this was in my old town, like my much smaller town, and it wouldn't let me. It said that I was on like a wait list. But since I switched here, it's gonna let me. So I was actually this earlier this week, I was actually getting that set up. So I'm gonna try it out soon.
Sweet.
I'm excited for that.
That is exciting. I don't know if you'll make a video on it or whatnot, but I'll be excited to see it if you do, because I've been waiting to get on Grubhub for a while now, and just I'm on a wait list, and it's been like a
Yeah.
couple months now, so just waiting. um, so now to kind of close out the podcast, uh, I just wanted to kind of get into your finances and how much you make a week, and like how you break up your money, because like how much do you put towards taxes, like are you saving up for another new car, like how are you breaking everything down?
Yeah, sure. So I actually like finance videos. I love, being transparent. I mean, obviously I tell everybody how much I make and everything.
Hmm.
But I've never talked about like YouTube or anything, but I don't mind giving like a rough estimate as well. So
Oh
like
yeah,
with
that'd be
DoorDash,
great. That'd be great.
yeah. So with DoorDash, I try to aim for 400 to 500 a week. And if I'm working like, OT, I'm working, to try to make like another video overtime, I guess.
Hmm.
Like a big video where I go out and whatever. If I'm
Yeah.
doing like an hour a week video as well, I'll put more in. But usually I make like 400 to 500 on DoorDash, and on YouTube it's about the same. So it's probably about 400 to 500 a week, give
Okay.
or take how much I upload. And
Okay.
so it's not bad at all. I love what I do. But as far as like how I put it aside, it's like with my so I don't know. I haven't made a video about it. I actually probably have a video coming out today about it. But I actually am financing a new car. So not like a
Okay.
brand new car, but my
Yeah.
last one. It's my Subaru that I've been driving. It's broke down on me 2 times, and now it's not even going to run in my parking lot. So want to
Okay.
get something. I'm getting a Toyota Corolla, and
Nice.
it's going to be about 10 to 13,000
Okay.
ish. With I'm not quite sure yet, but anyways, like with that, I'm going to be setting aside like 300 a month or whatever for that. But as far as like so let's say I make $4,000 a month.
Hmm.
I'll set aside 500 of that for like car, and then I'll set aside like another 1,000 of that for like investments, what I'm going to put in like the stock market and stuff like
Okay.
that. And right now I'm just invested in like some index funds, as well as like some meme stocks. I actually made some money on Dogecoin.
Hey,
Let's
that's what
go.
I like to hear right there.
Only like $50. I
Hey,
was too scared, but
hey, same here. I put some in Bitcoin. Haven't gone into Dogecoin yet because I'm just too nervous. I feel like
I
Bitcoin's a
wouldn't do
little
it
bit better,
now. But
but um, yeah. And
yeah,
then I do the index funds and stuff too, so that's good though. Um,
yeah,
so you haven't done a full year of self-employment yet, though, have you?
no. So my last year, like my 2020 taxes were like mostly like what I made at Wendy's, and then
That makes
some
sense.
self-employment.
Okay, that
Yeah,
makes sense. So yeah, you haven't had to deal with that yet. I haven't really either. I haven't done like a full-time year yet. I think like last year when I was doing it part-time, I made like 9 or 10,000 or something like that for the year. So I didn't have to worry too much about setting aside money for taxes. But now with like I'm starting to get YouTube income, that's self-employed, and then DoorDash, I'm making like 800, 900, sometimes like $1,000 a week multi-apping. So I'm definitely gonna have to set aside money for that and all that stuff. So I usually try and do about 20% for taxes, and then I just do 5% whatever I make to save up for a new car eventually, because I know my Mercedes is pretty new, and I don't know if you heard when I was talking with DoorDash Dad. The reason I got that was because I was going into real estate and I wanted to like it's such a superficial job when you're going into that, and so
you wanted to look rich.
yes, exactly. Because you want to look like you are experienced and you're making good money. Otherwise, people aren't going to use you. They're going to use the other person who has the nicer car. Like that's how it goes in that
Yeah,
industry. So I bought it thinking I was going to do that, but then I ended up doing this, loving it way more. And so, um, but yeah, my car payment's it's like 400 a month, so it's not bad. But I know that like I can probably put another 200,000 miles on that car, but like you
did
just
you buy
never
it new?
so it's a 2015. I put
Okay,
I put a couple thousand down, and I actually got it at a pretty good price. The total price was like 17,000, and so I put a couple thousand down, took out a loan for the rest of it, and so yeah, I'm paying like $400 a month for the next couple of years. But if I keep doing what I'm doing, like going 40, 50 hours a week, DoorDash and Uber Eats, then it'll probably only last me like 4 more years. So I put away 5% of my income just so I have like a safety net if something does happen. And Mercedes, it's expensive to replace parts on it too. So if anything
Yeah.
does go out, like I want to have like that safety net, So that's cool that you're investing in stuff and that you're making pretty good money from YouTube. So I'm just curious. I don't have to put this in or whatnot, but what's like your RPM and your CPM?
I think I'm not sure about my CPM, but my RPM I think sits around 7 to 8. I'm pretty
Okay,
sure.
that's what I've noticed with like every DoorDasher, and I don't know if it's just because I have finance in my name, but like mine's like sometimes crazy high, like $20. Like,
Really?
yeah, I don't. So that's why I try and incorporate finance into like a lot of my videos because I know it has a higher RPM. But like, yeah, talking to all like you and DoorDash Dad, Eli, like all your guys are right around like 7 to 12, I would say. And then for some reason, I don't know if it's because I have finance in my YouTube name, but it's like low end $15, high end 25. So I must
That's
be doing,
crazy, man. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. So I must be doing something right. I don't know.
Hey, keep it
Maybe.
up.
Thanks. I appreciate that. So that pretty much wraps us up. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Anything you want to give to your fans that I don't know. Just is there anything you want to say before we close it out?
Yeah, there's one thing I gotta say. Dogecoin to the moon.
Hey, there we go. That's the perfect
Let's
way to
go.
close it out. Let's go. Dogecoin to the moon. That's how we're going to close it out. Anyway, thank you so much for joining Nugs. This episode was great. Hopefully, you guys all enjoyed it. It's going to be up on YouTube and Apple Podcasts. So make sure if you're not subscribed to Nugs, make sure you go over there, subscribe to his channel. He makes some great content over there. And yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys next week.